What's going on YouTube? Welcome to the Credit Plug channel. So in today's video, I wanted to follow up on a video that I put out about 2 weeks ago and just detailing the process that I went about obtaining my brand new 2023 BMW XM under my business name. Now in that previous video, I just kind of walked through the tax aspect of it, how small business owners are able to leverage the tax code section 179. So for business vehicles over 6,000 gross vehicle weight rating that are used for business purposes, you could depreciate a certain percentage of the cost of the vehicle in the tax year that you purchase it. And you also have what's called bonus depreciation. Now, prior to 2022, bonus depreciation was 100%. So when I purchased my other business vehicle 2 years ago, I was able to depreciate 100%. Now with this particular vehicle, I was only able to do 80% for 2023, and then I'll do the remaining 20% for 2024. So this is definitely a great way for small business owners to reduce their taxable income and reduce their overall tax liability. And so again, definitely consult your tax advisor. I'm not recommending or telling anyone to go and buy a vehicle. It's all going to depend on your particular situation. But for this video, I wanted to address the financing aspect because a lot of people were asking me, did you get a personal guarantee? Did you get no PG? And so I'm actually going to walk through the different considerations when it comes to financing. But before I dive into that, I just wanted to also state that right now interest rates are relatively high, right? Compared to even 2 years ago when I bought my other vehicle, the interest rate was at like 2%. And this was for prime credit, right? Over 800 credit score. Right now, prime credit, you're looking at probably close to, 6-7%. Depending on the lender. Now with BMW Financial Services, with prime credit in today's auto market, you're looking at about maybe 7.5%. I just wanted to state that I definitely don't recommend anyone financing a high-end vehicle like this one that's over 100,000 in today's interest rate environment, because if you do wind up having, let's say, a 72-month term or 60-month term, it can add an extra, 30, 40, even $50,000 to the total cost of the vehicle if you are to finance it for a long period of time. So I would only recommend you finance a car like this if you have the ability to pay it off in a short amount of time, let's say less than 6 months, so that you can reduce the total finance charge. Now, the finance manager actually broke down the method to eventually be able to get 100% corporate liability, no PG, where you basically don't have to put down your social security number in order to finance a high-end vehicle. Now, the two main considerations when you're looking to finance a vehicle, especially over 6 figures, is going to be what's called comparable car credit, right? So comparable car credit basically means, do you have a history of a paid off auto loan of a comparable price, right? So that doesn't mean necessarily that you would have to have, the same amount previously of a vehicle that you finance, but comparable. So maybe within a certain range. With BMW Financial Services, it's a different underwriting process once the vehicle goes over $100,000. Now, this may have changed recently. So anyone who might be in the comment section who's financed a higher end vehicle from BMW, it may have been different previously, but this is the recent data points that I wanted to share. And this is as of June or April 2023. So basically what I was told was that once the vehicle goes over 100K, they're going to want to see comparable car credit if you want to get it with no personal guarantee. Things may have been different previously, but we're in a different, economic climate, economic environment. So the level of scrutiny is definitely going to be a little bit higher, especially, let's say, if you're trying to finance a higher end vehicle. So long story short, I was able to get approved for this, but it wasn't because of the comparable credit, because obviously I didn't have it. It was primarily based off of business income and personal credit, as well as personal income. What the finance manager told me was that once you have a high-end paid off auto loan under your belt, the next time you come around, let's say next year I decide to purchase another, higher end vehicle, I can get it with no personal guarantee because I'll have a paid off auto loan trade line and I'll have that comparable car credit. And so that's the only reason why I decided to finance this, because I wanted that trade line on my credit report, because it's going to enhance my ability to be able to get no higher end, no PG auto loans. So even if I went to a different dealer like a Porsche or Mercedes, I would have that comparable car credit. And so pretty much he said what you should do is, and this is what I've actually done, finance the vehicle and adopt the same approach like the pledge loan hack, where you pay a large down payment initially. So the first payment I've already scheduled for $100,000. So what it's going to do is going to show the original loan amount, which is about $168,000. The first payment I already scheduled, so it's going to have a balance of about $68,000. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pay the remaining $68,000 over the next 6 months. So $10,000-$12,000 a month until it's paid off. So by, let's say, November, December, early December, this will be paid off. So going into next year, let's say if I want to get another business vehicle, which I'm not sure, because next year the bonus depreciation decreases to 60%. So I'm not quite sure just yet how I want to go about that, but I'll at least have a paid off auto vehicle trade line on my business credit report. So I'll have that comparable car credit. And so that's definitely going to help my business when it comes to no PG financing. And so that's pretty much the play on how to get no PG auto vehicle financing. I could say at least from BMW Financial Services. Another thing I wanted to point out was that the finance manager did say that they report to Dun and Bradstreet. Now, I know I've been critical of Dun and Bradstreet because a lot of people think that Dun and Bradstreet is going to help you with getting bank term loans and unsecured lines of credit. But what I will say is that Dun and Bradstreet is still very impactful when it comes to auto vehicle financing under the business, because they do report to Dun and Bradstreet. He also mentioned that they report to Experian and Equifax. I saw a question someone asked, how many trade lines do you need? Now, it's not really about having a 80 paid X or anything like that. That doesn't really matter. You definitely need the comparable car credit if you want no PG. Now, again, you can get approved for a vehicle like this by personally guaranteeing it and, having the income to demonstrate. But again, without the comparable car credit, it doesn't matter if you add Quill, Uline, Granger, none of that's going to matter. You're going to need the comparable car credit if you want to get 100% no PG, 100% corporate liability. And so, again, the strategy that I'm deploying with financing it is to pay it off as soon as possible or as fast as possible. Now, the finance manager did say, you don't necessarily want to just pay the whole thing off immediately. You actually want to show, a couple months of actual payments, because he said that would help versus just paying it off after the first month, which, I can do it if I want. So I'm actually going to, again, make the big down payment. So it's going to show a lower installment utilization once it reports to the business credit reporting agencies. And then I'm just going to show, a track record of making these other large payments, 10, 12,000 until I pay off, $68,000. So I can do that in about 6 months, right? $10,000 to $12,000. And so that's pretty much my strategy. And in terms of the financing, you will need to have pretty solid personal credit if you're going to personally guarantee. Of course, I have over 800 across the board, so that wasn't an issue. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It was a triple hard inquiry. And I did have to provide business financials, profit and loss statement. They ran my personal credit, and I did provide a W-2, as well as some pay stubs. Now, that may be overkill in terms of paperwork, but again, always best to give as much information to help with the lending decision. Anyways, that's all for today's video. Until next time, take it easy, and we'll talk to you soon.